African refugees enslaved, women raped, and organs stolen, all while being held captive by Bedouin smugglers in Egypt's Sinai Peninsula. Unmarked graves of dozens who never made it to their goal, a new life in Israel. Unspeakable horrors uncovered in the CNN documentary Death in the Desert, which aired in early November. But since then, aid agencies report that scores of refugees have been released from Bedouin custody and have made it across the border to Israel.
What we've seen is, I would say, quite a substantial increase in the number of people who have crossed since the beginning of November. What we've heard was about 1,300 from basically the first 2 weeks of November, which is well over double the normal rate.
The UNHCR says it's unclear why so many of the refugees are all of a sudden being released. Sinai is a lawless area where the Egyptian state has little authority, so it's difficult to know what impact the CNN documentary had. But a chief for the Sawarka tribe says shortly after it aired, Egyptian intelligence officials put pressure on human traffickers, and more than 600 African refugees were released without having to pay the massive sums normally extorted by criminal Bedouin gangs. That matches what the UNHCR is hearing from the refugees who made it to Israel.
Eritreans were paying $20,000 a month. Money was being extorted out of them while they're in Sinai. They were there for long periods. They were very ill-treated, often tortured. Women, systematic sexual abuse, consistent, very credible testimonies. Whereas some of these people that arrived recently, in the past couple of weeks, they report having spent far less time in these centers in Sinai, these camps, and often paying far less money, $3,000, $3,500, which is far less than the average pre-November.
Whatever the reason, it seems clear something major has changed in Sinai, and people like Hamdi Al-Azazi, who runs the New Generation Foundation for Human Rights, which tries to help African refugees in Sinai, says it's about time. So would you say that this is modern-day slavery?
It's more than slavery. It's terrible. You can't accept. If you tell any person about the stories there, nobody can accept your talking, because they will answer you, no, you're a joke. It is not true. Is it true somebody do that in this time in the world?
It's unclear whether the increased number of refugees now crossing into Israel really marks a turning point in the treatment of Africans fleeing the turmoil in places like Sudan and Eritrea. But at the very least, it seems a few hundred of them have had a smoother and safer journey to what they hope will be a better life. Fred Pleitgen, CNN, Berlin.